I'm going to show you how to make a wild green soup with roasted poblanos and almonds. Now this is a vegetarian, well, it's even a vegan soup, and it's one that you can make with all different kinds of greens. When I go to my farmer's market, we always have greens in the market, from the wild mustard greens that come out really early in the season, which is what I've got here and what I'm going to be making this soup out of, to the wild lamb's quarters that go most of the summer. There's always going to be spinach and Swiss chard, and in the fall there's going to be kale, and I love to make the same soup with kale. Now the first thing that I'm going to do in the preparation, well, I've already got it going here, is to blanch some almonds. Now these have been toasted. They're the peeled almonds that I am just simmering in a little bit of water to soften them up. Simmering them in the water like that will make them a little softer, and they'll blend into a beautiful, beautiful creaminess in this finished soup. Okay, those are going to go into my blender jar. And next, some potato. You can pretty much use any kind of potato that you want for this soup. It's going to add some thickening as well as some little pieces in the finished soup. I'm using a Yukon Gold. The creamier, the better for the potato. And then I'm putting some peeled cloves of garlic, 4 peeled cloves of garlic in there, put a top on there, and I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit. Now let's go on to the greens here. This is the wild mustard green. These are in blossom. It's really best when you're using the wild mustard greens to just pick, I'll show you how to do this, just pick the leaves off of each stalk, because the stalks on these are pretty tough. You can take the little flowering end there and use it for a little garnish on the finished soup. So once you've picked off all of those, we're going to blanch those in a second once these potatoes and garlic cloves are completely tender. Now while we're waiting on that, I'm going to talk about the roasted poblano that goes in here. I've roasted this poblano over an open flame until I've gotten it blackened and blistered all over. I've let it cool down just a little bit, and I'm going to clean it. Cleaning is very simple, because once it cools, it will release that skin so that you can pull the blackened skin off of it, like that. I've got a bowl of water here to rinse it off. You can just go to your sink and rinse it off there. Tear it open like that, pull the seed pod out, and then very briefly rinse this off to get those stray seeds and the bits of skin off of it. And you're ready to go on to the next step, which is, well, for this one, I'm just going to tear it into pieces. This is a great sort of everyday soup after you've come back from your farmer's market. Put that in with the almonds. I've got some vegetable stock here. This soup is actually delicious. Just simply made with water. It'll allow all of the other ingredients to really, really shine. Get all those little blackened pieces of skin off of my hands there, and then we're going back and check these potatoes. Now, because I chopped up the potatoes, they're just about tender now. So I'm going to scoop them into the blender, about half of them there. And the other half, I'm going to keep over to the side here to add to the finished soup. Okay, so that's ready to go there. And we'll put this back over here. There's a stray piece of garlic. I want to get all of the garlic into the blender there. Now back over to the blender, put the top on, and I'm going to blend this until it's completely smooth. Now I'm also going to put some of the blanched mustard green leaves. Got to actually put this water back onto the fire here, and I'm going to take about 2/3 of those and put them in here. Now I could have just thrown them right into the blender and blended them, but you'll notice a change in color when you see these blanched for just a second here. You notice that the green just becomes so much more vibrant. See how beautiful that is? That's all we're doing is softening. It'll take a little bit of the strong flavor out of them as well. And I'm going to put those into the blender jar here with everything that we've blended. Give that another quick blend, and the soup base will be ready. See how beautiful and green that is? I'll put our pan over the heat here, pour the soup base in, and then I'm going to add to it those cubed potatoes that I had saved out. Okay, so we're basically finished here with the soup, except that I want to add a little bit more of the mustard green to it. I'm going to take some of these mustard green leaves and add them to the finished soup as well. Mustard greens have such a beautiful, bright flavor. It's a little spicy, which I think goes wonderfully with the Poblano chili. We've got a second Poblano here to chop up and add to the soup as well. So I'm kind of doing what I would call a coarse chiffonade of these mustard greens. We'll add that to the potato and the almond in this soup. Add creaminess and richness. Really delicious, and you can see that this is the kind of soup that for everyday eating, it's just perfect. It's not terribly rich, but it's terribly rich in flavor. Okay. Last thing here is to add the diced poblano. Let everything cook together for just a minute or so, long enough to wilt those mustard greens. Season it with salt and dinner's ready.